Wrong button. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to, yeah, this is Coffee Time with Phlinger. So, hey, I'm just sitting back. Hold on one sec. Let me, turn down the music volume. Alright, so, yeah, I'm just, gonna be doing a Coffee Time with Phlinger. Pretty much just me sitting here chatting with everything, with you guys about the settings for Soloing the Ark and stuff like that. These are the settings that I run with, Soloing the Ark, and I've been doing settings like this for, several years now, actually. Yeah, they've changed a little bit over the last couple years, but for the most part, they've stayed pretty much the same. Yeah, granted, as patches come and go, some settings will get messed up. Sometimes something will just automatically get turned on, and I don't realize it for like 2 episodes. Because sometimes you just get in, play, have fun, you know, and record, and then go and, yeah, upload it to YouTube. And hey, I don't even realize it till somebody posted in the comments, "Hey, Phlinger, something's wrong here," and then I'll go and I'll take a look, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, something happened. Yeah, so anyway, first off, we're just going to, for the most part, as people have, well, as my settings have changed, and my settings have actually changed from the beginning of this season, of the current season, Soloing the Ark Season 5. And right now I'm 150 episodes into it, and I've changed my mating settings, and I just made another setting change this morning. So I decided, you know, now's a good time to get in and do my my coffee time. So here, hold on. Holding true to form, I'm gonna have some coffee. It's good coffee. All right, so anyway, we're going to first talk about the options. All right, now these are my options when it comes around to Soloing the Ark. This is the way I run it. For the most part, I've got this entire thing screenshotted in case if anything happens, I can go in and I can change everything up, and I can just set it right back to here as much as possible. Now, I'll go through most of these. For the most part, over here, everything's epic. Now, the only reason why I don't have general shadows and terrain shadows turned up on epic as well is because, frankly, I don't think they're necessary. They create kind of a system drag for the most part when you're recording, and it's just the combination between OBS and the game. It'll mess up a little bit every once in a while. It's not very often, but sometimes you'll get some screen tearing and stuff like that. So I just turned it down to medium because especially when I'm recording Aberration, because Aberration is so shadow intense that it kind of magnifies that problem. So if you're just playing the game and your system can run it, crank them up to epic. I only have it like this because I record, and it makes it easier. All right, everything else, my music and stuff like that, I have it turned down for the most part because I like to, you know, I like to talk and hear myself talk and not have to listen to the music all the time. All right, so anyway, the anisotropic filtering, that right there is checked. I've got all the densities, the mesh level of detail, all that turned up completely to max. Motion blur, I don't like motion blur in video games. If there's ever a selection to turn that off, I turn it off. I don't like it. Film grain, I'm actually kind of on the fence about this one. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. In like a noir type game, definitely. In Ark, I don't think it's that necessary, so I just turn it off. All right, ambient occlusion, I just don't have that turned on right now. I'm not sure why that ever got turned off. Same thing with dynamic tessellation. Oh yeah, that's right, because of Genesis. I turned them off because it was creating such an issue with all of the fish spawners that were in the ocean biome, which was lagging up my system a little bit. And that's, I found out that's pretty much what it was. So I just need to turn those back on. Matter of fact, I'll probably do that here in just a little bit. Let's see, distant field shadowing, yes, that makes the trees and everything just look amazing in the distance. Because without it, everything just, it's just there. But once you add the distant field shadowing to it, it just makes it just pop. Gives it that extra depth, and it just looks amazing. Because Ark is a really, really pretty game. I want to have it as pretty as I possibly can get it. So, let's see. Subsurface scattering, yeah, all that turned on. High quality materials, of course. High quality visual effects, yes, please. Simple distance character movement, no, I don't have that turned on. And this right here is when you're looking at something off in the distance and you see something, it'll kind of, you know, it'll just like kind of hop a little bit, and it doesn't have the high quality movement. Say like if you're looking at something off in the distance and you see like an Anki, it'll just be a little bit, you know, it won't be smooth, and that's the way I like it. I like it smooth. All right, high quality LODs, of course. Extra level streaming distance, yes. Color grading, yes. Light bloom, no. Light shafts, no. Low level quality of streaming, no. Anything to do with extra shining lights, I am not a fan of. All right, UI general scale. Actually, normally I have this turned down just a little bit because I like the buttons to be slightly smaller. But yeah, ever since the last restart of all the resetting of all the settings, I've just kept it where it was. UI item scale, slot scale, that right there, it's pretty much there. All right, camera shake scale. No. Sorry, that needs to be completely down. I do not like that at all. All right, camera field of view, that's default. Left-right sensitivity, default. Up-down, that's default. All this stuff right here, no, I don't like that. Third-person offset camera, while that is good in some games, I'm not a fan of it in Ark. Click apply on that, save. All right, let's go back in there really quick. Options. All right, so now, here's the advanced settings. All right, we've got inventory, access sounds, melee camera animation. Yeah, we've got all that. Floating names, join notification. This is my single-player game, so I really don't care because nobody's going to be joining it. Chat bubbles, no, none of that. First-person writing. This right here just means it's where whenever you hop on a dino, you're always in first person. All right, that's fine. Let's see, I don't have it on. Status notifications, yes. Fahrenheit temperature, you can just turn that off if you want to go Celsius. Auto chat box, I don't chat in there again, so yeah. Hide server info, sure. Torpidity effect, yes. This is, the torpidity effect is the little purple glow around the edge of the screen whenever you get stung by like a scorpion or something like that. Or if you don't drink your water and then, you know, you start getting torpor and stuff like that, yeah. Let's see, allow crosshair, yes please. Allow hit markers, yes. This right here is the, whenever you shoot something, that little... when your crosshair turns to red really quick, and then you hear that little thunk, and it says that you hit something, that's the hit marker, right? Color item names, yes. Let's see, no tooltip delay menu. Give default items. This right here is whatever you have, like you buy an expansion or something like that. All those different items that go in your inventory every time you die, that's them. If you want to get your haircuts and stuff. In between, say like you start a new game and you don't have your old haircuts, just turn that on, go jump off a cliff, respawn, and then you'll have all your haircuts, and then you can turn it right back off. Let's see, high floating player names, yes. Quick toggle items, show item selector, yes. Play action wheel sounds, yep. Animation staggering, no, it's not necessary. Low quality nah. All right, so... and key bindings. Yes, this right here is probably one of my most common questions I get asked about. Yes, I am left-handed. So, these right here, you'll notice that all my movement keys are over on the number pad. And then my run is the plus button on the number. It's my pinky. You know, it's equivalent to, you know, right-handed person's using the left hand on the keyboard for shift. Yeah, because I use my left hand on my mouse. So, yeah. Reload is still R. There's still a bunch of stuff that I do reach over the keyboard to use. But for the most part, you know, it's all just quick left-handed. Now, if you're setting this up, quick thing, if you're setting this up, and because the dino groups are default set to the number pad, you have to go into the INI files, and here, let me show you. All right, so if you're changing up everything to a left-handed thing, now this, if you're right-handed, you can just skip ahead on this part, but if you're left-handed and you want to use the number pad, this is what you have to do. You have to go in to your Steam Apps, Common Arc, Shooter Games saved folder. Go to Config, Windows No Editor. Now in here you will have the input INI. Now the input INI is this folder right here. Now you have to scroll all the way down here until you see Select Order Group. Now you have to, now by normal default, this is set to key equal numpad 1, comma, B shift equal false. All right, normally this will just be false. All right, just like that. Now if you're switching over to where you want to use it, you have to swap this over to true. Now what I do whenever I have this, I actually have one of these saved on my computer, so where when they do things, I can just copy paste it right direct over. It makes it so much easier. But it means you have to change all these ones to select order group. Anything that says num keypad shift true or shift false. That right there means that it's just set straight up to the number pad key. If all these are set to false, it means that it's not going to request any additional information. It's just going to be like, hey, number keypad 6 is this key right here, select order group 6. It's not going to say anything else. But if you set it to true, it means that you have to set it so where you press B shift, which is the right shift, and then click that button, and then it will select it. So that's how I do that. All right, and another thing I'm always getting asked about is how do I do my whistles? Well, the whistles, for the most part, J is always all follow me, the dreaded J key. Yeah, but all neutral is just the up arrow. Yeah, all passive is the down arrow. Attack, oh, yeah, attack this target. That is the one for, you know, my boss fight one. Anything when I'm working with, like, a pack of, say, Sabertooths or Direwolves or anything. Any kind of pack, that's the one. It's the right arrow. So where I can just use my thumb and then click it while I'm playing and playing the game. Yeah. Land this flyer. While that is a really good key, I just never use it. I mean, a lot of people use it, but mine's not even assigned. So yeah. Oh, cycle target following distance, number pad 0, so I can just use my thumb on it again. Yeah. Dino break. I've been trying to figure out a nice key to go over here and use this on the right-handed side, but I just haven't, you know, I haven't put my head to that too much. Right. And left key is all move 2. This is another one I use a lot for my boss fights. So where if, you know, you launch into the dragon fight and you want to have your army go away from you while you step off on the side and you kind of try to pull aggro from the fireball breath away from your army, and then you can dodge out of the way. All move 2 is where you tell all your all the dinos on your order group to move over to that area. It's a very important key. If you haven't assigned it to something, do it because you're going to need it. All right, controller, I don't even use controller, so yeah. All right, so hey, let's go into the other settings. All right, so host local. All right, so you will see that these, I've got folders next to all these. These are all of Soloing the Ark, plus also Crystal Isles. I do have one on Ragnarok, but this right here is just kind of just overflow stuff that I just use. I haven't I haven't included Soloing the Ark this season into Ragnarok. I may eventually. I'm not sure. I'm kind of undecided yet. Valguero's another one I've been looking at as well. But with Crystal Isles that came out, you'll notice that I've been doing some videos on that. So I'm doing this. All right. So let's see. Now, if you wanted to delete a save, all you do is delete all dedicated server data. That is my bane. That button right there, it taunts me. I never, ever want to press it. Now, this right here is delete all single-player data. I never want to press either of those buttons, ever, for any reason. it's just the thing I don't want to do. All right, now, this right here is a list of all mods. These are the mods we use in Soloing the Ark. Absolutely none. Ever. Never, ever, ever, ever do I use a mod in Soloing the Ark. A lot of people ask me, hey, use S+. No. Use, item finder, use immersive taming. No, the answer to any mods in Soloing the Ark is always no. And until I absolutely get whacked over the head with anything, the answer will always be no, because Xbox and PS4 and Switch and stuff like that, they can't use mods. So it's important for me when I do Soloing the Ark that everything that you see me do in Soloing the Ark, and I always try to explain it in a way so where it can also be done as well, on those is if I do it on the PC version, you can also, and you have an Xbox, you can do the exact same thing I did. All right, if you see me do it on the PC version and something happens on, or you are playing the PlayStation or the Switch version, you can do the exact same thing. And that's the reason why I have it like that. No mods, never, not in Soloing the Ark. That is my mindset right now. Things may eventually change in the future, but that's a long way off. Right now, I'm just opening up to the idea that maybe, eventually, in some far-off distant land, I may add a mod. Right now, no. Absolutely no. 100% adamant about that. All right, so let's get into the other settings. Okay, so for the Ark rules, these are pretty much just, yeah, they did do a reset a while back, and I switched it up to this. Most of the things, everything's just kind of the exact same they were in the last coffee time video, but a few things changed. And I will point out one of the things that I did change this morning. All right, so difficulty level 1. Everything else default, all the way down to taming speed, which I have at ×6. Now this right here, I've been running at ×6 for most of Season 5. When I host servers, I put it at taming speed 4. I just do ×6 because I want my videos to not take, 8 hours to make, and that's really it. For the most part, most of my videos take about 4.5 to 5 hours, generally. And then, there's editing and rendering and uploading and all that other stuff. So each video generally takes between 4 and 6 hours, I want to say. All right, harvest amount, ×3. That right there just helps me speed things up. Dino harvesting damage, this is default, even though it doesn't look like it's default. That is default, at least I think it's default. I'm pretty sure it should be default. All right, so everything else coming down is default. All the way down, player count, and then right here, we've got some settings. Allow third-person camera, yes. Everything else off. Notifier player joined. That, I only have that logged just in case of some way, for some weird reason. Yeah, and then that's really it. It'll never happen, but hey. Enable crosshair, yes. PvE mode, this is what I turned on this morning. PvE mode. I turned that on, and then I also turned on allow flyer carry for PvE. Because it makes it so where your cryopods have 0 cooldown. You don't get cryo sickness anymore. And that's what I just added because, nobody else has to deal with this unless if you're playing PvE. I play PvE, or unless you're playing PvP. I play PvE on solo play. So this right here will actually, I don't know why I've been suffering through that for a while, but so I finally decided, you know what, I'll take the plunge and I will make my game the same as everybody else's. And so that's why I did that. I turned on PvE mode and I turned on flyer carry for PvE. That's really it. So show player, map location, that's turned on. Maximum difficulty, of course. Enable PvP gamma. Yes. Matter of fact, we could probably turn that off since I turned on PvE mode. Corpse selector, yes. Oh, and here's one thing I want to tell you. For single player settings, I never ever intentionally turned this on. At one point in Season 4, I ended up, when they first added this to the game, they auto-defaulted it, so all single-player games would have this on by default. And that screwed me up for a little while because it makes all your dinos tougher and makes everything hit harder, gives them more health, more damage, everything. And if you turn that on, you're pretty much not going to be able to go back to it because it's going to mess everything up. It took me a good week to get everything back the way it was supposed to be just by clicking that one checkbox. Don't do it unless you absolutely want to. I want a challenge, so there's no way I'm going to click single-player settings. All right, corpse locator, yes. Disable structure placement collision, yes. This makes it so where you can clip things into the terrain, and it makes it more like the old S+ building than used to be. All right. And then the only last thing is allow unlimited respecs. That's because I am past level 100, and if you have this unchecked, you have to level up before you can use a mind wipe tonic, which takes a long time when you're above level 100. So yeah. All right, now advanced. All right, let's see. I don't even know why I have that one checked. All right, allow flyer carry PvE. That right there is the only one here that I should have checked. Let's just turn that off. All right, So there, allow flyer carry PvE. That's the only one here that I have checked. All the rest of them are off. Now going down here, all right, not prevent diseases. I have that one not checked. And although I do have non-permanent diseases checked. Now, if you have prevent diseases, that right there will stop you from getting diseases at all. I don't want to get rid of the diseases. All right, I want to get diseases because there's achievements that you can get by getting them. I want to be able to have leeches and stuff like that. But I don't want them. If I die, I want that to be the end of it. And that's really it. So it could create, it could be very funny if I'm recording and, a leech comes up, gives me some sort of weird, Mambo number 5 sickness, and then all of a sudden, I end up dealing with that, and then I die. I want it to be the end of it. That's it. All right. Let's see. Now, cruising down here, everything else should pretty much be default. And then... Oh, here's another thing that some people I have noticed. They have turned on unintentionally. Disable Dino Imprint. Don't turn that on. Don't. That stops you from being able to imprint your stuff. Right? Well, you can still imprint it, but you don't get the buff for doing it. And that's like the main reason for breeding is getting the buff. Where you have the 30% buff to them and while you're riding them. Yeah. Don't turn that off. Don't check that. All right. Now here we're getting into the very, very important part. This is the thing that everybody's been asking me about. What are my new breeding settings? Because the old breeding settings don't work because Wildcard did change them. All right, well, here they are. All right, mating interval 0.01. That's it. All right, egg hatch speed 30.0. Baby mature speed, 42.5. All right, now you'll notice that these are above the slider. If you move the slider, it's going to max out at 6. You actually have to go in here and physically change it. And then it will set itself to that. And it'll just get rid of the little things where you can set it like that. All right. Harvest health, all that stuff's the same. Baby cuddle interval multiplier. It's at 0.035. This right here will allow you to give you a 100% imprint with a 42.5 mature speed. And it's important because there's a mathematical equation that goes along with setting these up. Now, sometimes on, say, like a Giga or a Uteranus, it's really close. You have to have the ingredients in your inventory to be able to imprint them. And so where there's very few seconds or downtime in between. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm imprinting this Giga, so I've got all my stuff in the fridge and I have to run there every time. No, have that stuff in your inventory. Be sitting right next to that Giga. That way there, you can and will get a 100% imprint almost every time if you have the stuff in your inventory while you're imprinting. If you have to run to the fridge every time and get it, you're not going to get it. I can tell you that right now. You're not going to get 100%. So have the stuff in your inventory. All right, everything else, day cycle speed is a 0.5. My days are twice as long. Daytime speed, my daytime is twice as long. Nighttime speed, 2.5. This right here is where my night times are 5 times as short because I don't want nighttime. I mean, one of the biggest questions in the comments is, Phlinger, why is it so dark? Turn on gamma, light a torch, something like that. Well, I minimize that by turning down the nighttime speed. That's how I do it. When I go to aberration, though, those all go to 1. Because on aberration, those settings, the day cycle speed, the daytime speed, the nighttime speed, they all just get set to 1 because aberration is actually important that you have a regular sized nighttime and you have regular sized daytime. So on every other map, these are the settings, but as soon as I go to aberration, they get set to 1.0, 1.0, and 1.0. All right, spoiling time. My spoiling time for this series is 2.0. It's been 2.0 the entire time. Yeah, it really hasn't come up, anything like that. I mean, I know I mentioned it twice, maybe 3 times. But yeah, my spoiling time is 2.0. Let's see. World Dino Stats, these are all default. Tame Dino Stats, these are all default. Tame Dino Add Per Level, default. Tame Stats Affinity, default. Player Stat Per Level, default. Experience Multipliers, default. Max Players in Tribe, all that stuff's default. Show Floating Damage Text. This is the check mark. I get asked this a lot. All right, this is what you turn on so where you can see how much damage you're doing to everything. The big numbers that pop up, that's the check mark for that one. All right, allow custom recipes. Yeah, I mean, come on, custom recipes are fun. Click that sucker. All right. Scroll on down here. All the rest of the stuff is default. Oh, now another thing I wanted to mention is experience and engrams. Yeah, engrams. This is all just default. All right. But yeah. For experience, I don't ever buff XP amount. How much you get from XP ever. Matter of fact, there's some times where I actually will turn this down. At the beginning of Season 5, for a little bit, I actually had this at 0.25. So where I gained a lot less XP than I was supposed to for doing things, that's because I was just flying through everything. And I just do that without even thinking. Because at this point, I'm so efficient at the game that just everything just kind of comes quickly. So there's times where I turn this way down just so I can cover all the content that I'm supposed to. But yeah, sometimes I will turn this down below 1, but it never, ever goes above 1.0. Ever. All right, so hey, that's the settings for Ark. I hope this helped you out. That's the coffee time for today. Normally, I will go in and I'll explain people how to transfer servers, stuff like that. I'm not going to do that today. I've already covered that in other one. None of the stuff from that from the 2019 coffee time video has changed. It's all the exact same way on how to transfer servers. So yeah. All right. So hey, now there's a couple other things. If you are wanting to play with friends on your single player game, you just run dedicated server and allow people to pop on. You can create a procedural arc, and I don't think any of my procedural arc videos have changed in how they're relative to that, because I went through and I was kind of very scientific when it came to finding just the what each one of the settings for the procedural arc did, and then how to set up a really nice procedural arc so where you didn't have any of the tearing or anything like that. So yeah. I spent a lot of time on that. I think I probably spent a good 3 weeks on just busting into the science of how to create procedural arcs. I don't think any of that information has changed. So, yeah. All right, and host non-dedicated session. This right here is just where you can use your PC as a server. Yeah. All right, so, yeah. Hey, that should be it for the coffee time. I hope this helped you out. And, hey, I will see you guys in Soloing the Ark. Take it easy, everybody.